Well, for more on the issues raised in that piece by Samkele Maseko, I'm joined by former intelligence officer Johan Mostert. Mr. Mostert, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. I remember in the conversations that went on yesterday between friends, but also on social media, a lot of people saying abuse is actually not uncommon when it comes to intelligence services around the world.
Well, sure is. Most intelligence services in the world at some time or other run into problems of operational matters as well as corruption. One can recall the CIA, and that was one of the major scandals in the international intelligence world, when they published their so-called family jewels. It was a major rush in the United States to condemn the CIA, and actually they're suffering to this day from that exposure at the time.
Well, you obviously have the advantage of having worked for, as an intelligence officer, before 1994, during apartheid days, and of course post-1994, when a new democratic government was installed. In your experiences, what have been the, shall we call it, the distinguishing features of the post-1994 intelligence setup when you compare it to what used to happen during apartheid?
Okay, I'll have to give you a very brief rundown, starting with the National Intelligence Service, which was a single service containing all the elements of intelligence. In 92, 93, beginning of 94, all the different intelligence functionaries in South Africa, the old NIS, the intelligence component of the ANC, later joined by PAC, all the so-called homelands, we jointly designed a new intelligence structure, a new intelligence architecture. One of the documents as an outcome of that deliberation was the white paper on intelligence. Now, it's quite interesting that the report says that that still holds. The major problem now in the service, as it is today, is the fact that they didn't adhere to those principles outlined in the white paper. We went further then. We then drew up legislation to regulate the intelligence services, and we created a foreign service, the South African Secret Service, a domestic service, the National Intelligence Agency, and then there was also created a National Intelligence Coordinating Committee. The whole intelligence community consisted of these elements, as well as the police and the military intelligence organizations. Now, for some reason or other, in 2009, by proclamation, the whole setup was changed. No good reason to this day, I think, has been put forward to do such a thing. It was enacted in 2013. Now, the Commission rightly points out it also consisted of a major paradigm shift from national security, as it used to be, to state security. Now, that has a major impact on the conduct of intelligence, and the report clearly spells out their concern about this problem.
No. Okay, you're saying that there was no rational basis from what you were told as to why things suddenly had to change. But what did that do?
What the report recommends is the establishment, once again, of a separate entity for foreign intelligence, the South African Secret Service. Again, I don't know what it's going to be called. Also incorporating the National Communication Center, which has to do with monitoring of communications. That will also be housed in the foreign branch. And then, as it used to be, the NIA, or whatever it may be called. A major difference from the previous legislation, and I do think that is a very good thing, and that is situating the NICOC in the office of the presidency. That will give them a little bit more clout. They will have more muscle then to coordinate the intelligence organizations as they are supposed to do, but also now to coordinate the intelligence picture being produced by all the intelligence agencies. Let me just call it SAS, NIA, police intelligence and military intelligence. So that is a very good move, and I do think that the report really was spot on as the restructuring is concerned.
But what did having the state security, everything under one umbrella, the umbrella of the State Security Agency, do at a very real and practical level? What did that do?
Well, the same as the SAS and the NIA did, there wasn't much of a change in the focus of the organizations. It's just the way that they defined their missions and the way that they went about doing it. Those organizations actually, as the report points out, operated almost separately, even though they were joined together in the SSA. So it is just a more kind of unbundling the intelligence services again, as they used to be post-1994.
Have you ever had, or do you know, of instances where a sitting head of state actually tried to, get intelligence operatives to do something untoward or something illegal or unconstitutional even?
I'm tempted to say that it happens all the time, all over the world. There are attempts from the side of presidents to really influence the intelligence services in terms of what they are doing, but also in a broader sense, get the intelligence services to spy on them. We don't have that kind of information, obviously, because of the clandestine nature of intelligence services. But one can assume that the temptation is always there for presidents to ask the intelligence communities to do something just a little bit more than purely collect intelligence.
But you're not aware of very specific instances, whether it was pre or post-1994, where a sitting head of state tried to get the intelligence services to do something other than what they are meant to do?
And the major problem is not the intelligence principal telling them, the president telling the intelligence services they must do this or the other thing. What normally happens is that the intelligence services, they try to read the mind of the president and then feed him with the intelligence what he wants to know, what they think he wants to know, instead of the kind of intelligence that he should know.
Okay. That's where we're going to leave you. Thanks very much for your time, former intelligence officer Johan Mostert.